Welcome back to another sports podcast, everybody, because it's exactly what the world needs. It's another sports podcast. We're the Trio, and we're glad to be back in the locker room. Today's guest hung up the skates after a D1 career, somehow got more ice time as a content creator. You've seen him on
True.
NHL Network, Bleacher Report, and probably chirping you on your FYP. He's played with pros, interviewed legends, and made a living making hockey look cooler than it already is. Basically, he's proof that if you can't make the NHL, you can still be in every locker room. Please welcome Jonny Lazarus.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to start by asking an honest question. I need you to answer honestly.
Oh
Cool.
boy.
Is that ChatGPT or is that actually organically written?
It's a mixture of both, not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
Pretty jumping off point.
No, it was good. It was good. It was
Thank
good.
you, thank
That
you.
was good.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of pride ourselves on making sure that every guest feels welcome.
Giving them the hype intro.
We want them to get sweaty, and no one's gonna get sweaty if they're not feeling comfortable.
Yeah, it's true. No, it was well done. I've never the getting more ice time as a content creator versus an actual player was really funny. Actually, that was good shit.
Thank you. So you went from playing D1 hockey to working in media. When did you know it was time to hang up the skates and pick up a camera?
I mean, going into my senior year, I knew I was done. Um, so back when I was playing, I'm not saying it's not that long ago, but when I was playing in college in like 2018, when you transferred, you had to sit out for a year. So like in that year that I set out, where it's different now, like you can transfer and just go play right away. Like I was kind of, I was going through like a bit of an identity crisis. I didn't really know who I was without hockey, and I think in that year, I had worked in like media departments before at UMass, and then when I got to Mercier's, they didn't really have much media there, so kind of like started my own thing, and I really loved doing it. And I had networked a little bit throughout my junior year, and then met a lot of people going into senior year, and then just started to like reach out on LinkedIn to all the people that I kind of aspired to be like in NHL media. And I think everyone's advice was kind of the same. Like if you know your playing career is limited, like don't drag it out. Like just if you know what you want to do, get into it, and you'll be so much further along if you do it that way versus like if you try to extend your playing career just so you could say you played pro. So um, yeah, I think going into senior year, I knew it was my final season, and yeah, like it was just kind of I mean, it was a crazy transition though because COVID happened, and then obviously things work out a certain way where to me COVID was super advantageous because I was doing social media content, like doing podcasts, and everyone had free time. So when I reached out to people, like they were more than happy to say yes because they were so fucking bored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that was huge for my career. Like I don't know if I am where I am today if COVID doesn't happen. I really don't.
Silver linings, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Walk us through your process on how you ended up kind of growing where you were, and now you're at the Daily Faceoff doing stuff with the NHL. Like, walk us through your career path a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that could take up to like an hour. Like I really, really did not do things the standard way. And I think COVID has a lot to do with that. But I started just like posting videos, like mainly doing my own podcast and like focusing heavily on the Rangers and with the New York Rangers specifically, like obviously they had their beat reporters and they had certain podcasts, but like no one was posting at the time like videos of themselves like speaking hockey. You could tweet it, you could write it, but no one was like putting up a video of their face, like saying, "Here's what Capo Caco or Alexi Lafreniere should be doing." It was kind of just like takes on Twitter, not like actual video um, knowledge, I guess, for lack of a better term. But because I played, like I felt like trying to break down video or give like hockey opinions as a fan because I am a fan. I was a fan. I still am a fan. Like I never played in the NHL, would translate so well with people on social media. Um, so I guess by doing that and like putting myself out there, I just became like more familiar with people. Um, and I think that's just kind of what led to every opportunity is really just like, you know, every day having something to post, like being consistent, getting guests, responding. Like I think a big thing too, like no matter how much my following account grew, like I was responding to almost everybody. And there are people who say like, "Oh, don't read the comments. Like they're just whatever. It's gonna piss you off." No, those are the people that are fucking reading my stuff and engaging with me. I'm gonna answer them. Like that's like, I look at like Colby Cohen on my morning show, who's my friend and a co-host that I work with, he always says like you have more internet friends than you do friends in real life. And that's because I treat all the people that follow me as a friend. Like you are following me for a reason. Like I'm gonna obviously fuck with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I roll. So
It's amazing. I'd actually love to ask, do you have like a standout comment experience or interaction that you've had that is going to stick with you for a long time, whether that be good or bad?
um I have like I guess I have like one of both probably. Uh well, I guess it's not really I guess they're kind of both negative, but I turned one of them into a positive.
Okay, cool.
And it's like kind of a bit now that I do. Someone like said like what do you know about hockey? You probably never even played. And I just posted a video of me scoring against Minnesota like above that tweet. And I was like, show me yours, you know? So people kind of love that. So anytime someone like chirps me about like, did you even play hockey? Like I just throw that clip up there. Like and it's like if you got it, you got to use it, right? Um,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's sick.
but then like this guy, and I'll even call him out by name. I've never met him, but he's like his like Twitter account's like Immortal Lou or something. He's blocked me on Twitter. Like he does not like me, and I've never met him. I don't know like what I said to offend this guy or what I did to offend this guy, but he tweeted like I find Jonny Lazarus so insufferable or something. Like just tweeted that. Didn't even tag me. So like my friends were sending it to me and I was like, that's weird, you know? Cause like I'm a nobody, you know, like at the time, like not that I'm a somebody now, but like I was a literal nobody at the time. Just like tweeting about the Rangers. And I just like thought that was like kind of cool, honestly, if like someone cares enough to tweet that. Like that's a good thing, I guess, right?
All publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, so like that's kind of how I
Exactly.
took it. Like, this guy doesn't know me. I never met him. Like, if he's gonna judge me on my tweets, like that's a him problem, I guess,
100%. He's probably an Islanders fan.
He's certainly a Ranger fan. But like, I know Ranger fans who like know him, I guess that said like that's so like, you guys would be friends in real life or whatever. And whatever. It's just that was
So
just
an
one of those things that
asshole.
like that no, listen, I think it's totally fine. I don't again, like I don't think anything less of that guy for doing that, but like it was the first time someone like tweeted about me and I was like, that's
Kind of cool. Yeah.
yeah, whether it's yeah, like first time like ever I felt like my opinion matters enough to have someone hate me.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you played high level hockey. I got a two-parter for you. Who's the best player you ever played with, and did they embarrass you on the ice?
Yes and yes, and you guys will obviously I mean, it was Kale McCarr. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he embarrasses the best players in the world on the
Oh
ice.
yeah.
So yeah, so when I was getting scratched my sophomore year at UMass, like, wasn't in the lineup. So a big thing of what I would do in practice is like do the mock penalty kill. So we'd watch film of like the opponent we were playing against that week, and I would be on the penalty killing team that like mimics what the opponent's doing for our power play to get reps. Because if you're doing the mock, you're not in the lineup, so you can block a shot and it won't affect if you're going to play or not. So I had to stand in the way of Kale McCarr's shot basically to try to earn my way into the lineup. And there are many times where, he does his little hip walk on the blue line and I bite and then he walks right around me and makes me look stupid. So, yeah, there were a lot of those moments, but, yeah, Cal is by far the best player I've ever played with.
I mean, he's the best
Yeah, he's
in the league
he's
by
the best player that a lot of people have
yeah.
played with.
He's modern day Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're from New York, or you're living in
Long
New York.
Island, yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
Ranger fan.
Yeah.
Um, two questions. Working now in media, are you still a Ranger fan? Are you more
Oh, yeah.
like a fan Okay, so you're still
Oh, yeah.
cheering for the Rangers.
Yeah, big.
also.
I mean, I don't like show it outwardly, like when I'm like
Yeah,
at
yeah.
and whatnot, because you can't. But like, I think if you're covering a team, like whether grew up a fan of them or not, you should be a fan. Like that affects your,
For sure.
like when the team you're covering wins, the content you'll get, the stuff you'll get, the relationship you'll get with the players is way better than if they lose. Nobody wants to talk after a loss. So like whether I was a Ranger fan or not, I'd still be if I was covering the fucking Islanders, I'd be rooting for the Islanders.
Fair enough.
Like, I think it's just how it works with a job.
Do you remember that whole Tony D'Angelo shit that went on when he was a Ranger?
Yeah,
Oh,
actually
God.
we interviewed him last
So
summer.
what happened with all that stuff?
Like the Georgiev incident.
Yeah.
We have a clip of it somewhere. It's definitely on my social media, but I think he like as they were walking to the tunnel, I think he said something to Georgiev, like, make a fucking save or something like that. Like, which a lot of players do that to a goalie. It's common. I think Georgiev like maybe headbutted him or something, and then Tony. This is like something I'm not necessarily comfortable telling the story if I get it wrong. But we did interview Tony about it, and he told it, and we only have his side of the story. We don't have Georgiev's side of the story. But on my social media or on Daily
Yeah, yeah, we'll
Faceoff,
check it
like,
out
yeah, that is told from his words.
for
So
sure.
working in media, is there ever a fine line to kind of like put your fandom aside and work strictly as a reporter, or you kind of just like let your Rangers bias take the reins for you?
No, I mean, listen, I still do. I try to be as professional I can be, but I also do take pride in like showing that I still am a fan. I think
For
that's
sure.
kind of, I think a big reason why I'm here was because I was a knowledgeable fan. And I don't want to just like once you get somewhere, you don't just like lose what got you there, right? So,
Right.
um, I think it's funny too, like guys that I know now that play against the Rangers like chirp me when they beat the Rangers, which is like fun. So, um, yeah, it's good, I think, to have the fandom. And, maybe as I continue, I'm still like 3 years in, so it's still relatively new to me. But, if we're talking 20 years from now, maybe that changes. I am already a fan of like guys that I now know a little bit more. So, like,
Nice.
I'm open about like being a Jack Hughes fan. Like, I love Jack Hughes and he plays for the Devils, so that's kind of like a problem. But like, Jack is always great with me. So I like him and I root for him. Um, but yeah, like always be a fan, hopefully.
Where is Frank Seravalli going?
No idea. Actually, no idea. I can't tell. And even if I did know, I wouldn't tell you guys.
I got to pick. I got to pick.
But I respect the question.
Yeah, of course. Shoot or shoot, right?
Mhm.
I love that. Who's the best interview you've done, and like walk us through kind of what that experience was like? Not the best, your favorite. Like what was
Yeah.
the most memorable, whether it was good or bad or anything in between.
Yeah. I mean, there's honestly a million that come to mind. Best interview. Uh, Anytime I talk to Jack and Quinn Hughes, like I love talking to those guys. I really do. There's obviously, way more guys I could say, but like because so I met them in like 2021, like randomly out in New York City and like became like friendly a little bit. Like not like, best buddies or anything, but like, Quinn and I had texted and stuff and like we knew a lot of similar people and then when I started interviewing them more when I became like professionally in the game, like that the fact that they already know me makes it so much easier for me to do my job, because they know like the angle I'm taking, they know what I want to get out of them, and it's just like a mutually understanding, almost transaction.
Yeah.
Um, so like, people sometimes say like Quinn's always like sad or Jack's always like, not in the best mood. And it's like these guys are great if you know them. So they always give me good stuff. And I met Luke once, but I haven't like spoken to him enough to like really know him yet. But anytime I talk to Jack and Quinn, I always have a blast.
Is there any current or former NHL player where you got the interview and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe this is gonna happen?
I mean, Sidney Crosby was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've now interviewed Sid like 4 or 5 times. I don't think he knows my name, but like he knows my face, which is cool. Like he actually said what's up to me at MSG last year, and I was like, fuck, that's so cool.
Nice.
But yeah, like the first time I interviewed Sid, I was like, wow, that is actually so sick.
Yeah.
I want to ask, so on Morning Cup of Coffee, it has much more of like a casual, cool fan tone to it.
You
And
think so?
well, I was gonna say you even mentioned how much you feel everything is transactional and when you make people
Mm.
comfortable and you have a real conversation and connect with these players that you can get a lot better of an interview out of it. I was just wondering, was that the intention from the start, or is this something that's kind of starting to grow?
Yeah, I mean, I think casual is an interesting way. Like it definitely is casual.
I wouldn't say casual as in like a sports take casual. Like I would not call you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
casuals in the NHL, of
No, no,
course.
I just
I
think
just
like we
more
try to
so
be like we don't try to be like the hot take artist. Like we definitely give takes. And I'm probably the one who does it more. I actually Colby never. I always am the one who says something stupid as like a take, um, but I do think we try to like really get into the X's and O's of the game, and like we do break down a lot of film, and we try to like be fair in our criticism, not just like say what everyone else is saying. And I think that is something that I would like for us to separate from others. Also, the fact that we are live every morning and we're the first ones to talk about something that happened last night. Like there's a lot of pressure in that too, which I think is nice because, let's say I saw a play from a certain angle, like Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett last year is a prime example. Like, we're saying like, what did Sam Bennett do that's so egregious? Because we're seeing the back angle of it. And like a day later, TNT releases the reverse angle, and it's like, oh, he clearly punches Brad Marchand with his butt end in the face. And it's like, then you got to change your whole take. Where like, let's say if you're doing 1, 2 shows a week, you don't say the first part of it and then have to backtrack. You're just seeing everything. So you get to like give both sides where like one day we're completely wrong. The next day we might be right. But like being live and being the first ones to respond, you don't get to hear how everyone feels about a certain topic. So that's where it's like different fun, but also serious and not just as casual. But yeah, we always try to get the players feeling loose, feeling light, feeling comfortable, but also like, there's one. I mean, I could think of like this summer we have a good relationship with Pat Maroon. He came on our show like once a month or twice a month, and Pat like straight up said he hated Brandon Montour. Like we asked him if he hated anybody, he straight up said it. And then we played what Pat said about Brandon Montour for Brandon Montour when he came on the show, and Brandon was like very surprised. Like he was like, I mean, he held like he definitely held his own and like responded well, but like that probably wasn't the best thing for us to do, like so. There's times where it's like fuck, like we shouldn't have done that. We made, I don't know if we made him uncomfortable or not, but like I don't know. It's kind of like the things you feel like you have to say if you have those people on. Like you got to call yourself out almost if something happens.
I would love to ask, do you ever feel like you kind of have that civic responsibility to your fans to ask the hard questions?
Yes and no. Again, like we never want to make our guests uncomfortable because then they'll never want to come back on. But if I've tripped the Minnesota Wild timeless amounts. And we had the assistant GM of the Wild come on the show, and I said, like, I have called you guys mid multiple times. And like he actually the first time I met him, Chris Kelleher, love that guy. Like he called me out. He heard me say it. So it's become like an ongoing joke, but like you got to keep yourself honest if you want to get respect. So like, yeah, there's certain times where we definitely do it, but there's also certain times where we just think it's not appropriate to do it,
100%.
There's
We're
like
talking about. Sorry, go ahead, Taylor.
I was just gonna say, like when you see post and pregame interviews with players in like specifically the NFL and the NBA, they're emotional, they're honest, but then you get like the robotic side of the players. Is that something like, I mean, we never played high level sports. Is that something that I don't want to call it training, but like when you're doing pre and post game versus like a podcast or an interview outside of your team, why are they so robotic? Why do you think that is?
Well, I think a lot of it comes with answering a lot of the same
The
question.
same
Like,
shit over and over. Yeah.
It's just, again, like I actually like it's hard to come up with good questions every day. I can't imagine hearing the same question every fucking day. Like there are some questions I hear from other people and I'm like, what do you think this guy's going to say to that? But to be fair and to be honest, like if you're in the media, you typically have a story that you're already writing and you need quotes to fit that story. So that's why you're asking the question. Like if the power play is 0 for 15 over the last 3 games, guess what question you're hearing? You're hearing about the fucking power play and what you can do to fix it. Like that's just how it goes. And players understand that certain players are better at it than others. But if you're a guy sitting there on the power play and it's not doing well and you're being asked about it 3 games in a row, what are you supposed to say? Like what can you say? Like if we had the fucking answer, we'd go out and score a goal. Like that's really what it comes down to. So like there's times like that where you got to pick your spot to ask those questions. But again, it's like you're stepping into their locker room, their office, their place of comfort. And do they have to do it? Yes, they're required to do media. So like it's not something they want to be doing. So if a guy goes on a podcast, typically it's something he is either open to doing or wants to do. And they're going to be more open in the way they respond.
It's funny to hear you say that because we're all Leaf fans, and like every time, whether it's the first or second intermission, it's whether it's Matthews or Tavares, whether they're winning or losing, kind of like you said, they get asked the same thing every game.
Yeah.
They're up 2-1. What are you guys doing right in the first that you can kind of carry over to the seconds? You get asked that 40, 50 times a year, I guess.
Yeah, but you also can't ask a guy what his favorite fast food is.
Exactly.
I mean, the best interview that I've seen with Matthews was when I think they were playing Pittsburgh and he skated into the crossbar And then the post game, the guy asked him, "So Matthews, you kind of saw the net there, and you just kind of skated right into it. Was that something you were looking to do, or were you trying to make a move around the post?" Matthews like, "No, just saw it there and thought my face would taste great on that crossbar."
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like,
Yeah.
what do you want him to say?
The best was
Yeah,
Phil
it was-
Kessel. How's your breath? It's not good,
That's the
eh?
best. That's the
That's the
best. Yeah.
best one, man. I
Air
fucking miss
conditioning.
him.
Yeah.
I
That was
miss
so
that guy.
good. Yeah.
This is the best.
That was Pierre, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Pierre.
Yeah.
Back when
think it was.
TSN
That was a
was
while ago.
legendary with Gordon Pierre. I miss those days.
Mhm.
All right,
Thoughts on off-season trades? Like, you like what the Rangers did. I mean, I would like to get your take on the Leafs. I would love to hear what you thought about the Marner situation.
Yeah, well, I'm Marner situation, like fans didn't want him back. So
I did.
you did? I mean, it
I
seemed like everyone was kind of done with him. I think Leafs fans will miss him for sure. But I think it was time to move on. And at least they got Nicholas Waugh for him. Like it's not like they just lost him for nothing. Did they get anything else in that deal or no? I'm blanking on
No.
That was it.
Just
that was
one.
it. Like they got a depth center better than him just walking a free agency, right? I don't know. What's up? You say something?
Could you imagine seeing that trade in your fantasy league get posted between two of the other league mates? Mitch Marner for Nicholas.
Yeah, no, listen, it was pretty clear what was happening. And I think most Leaf fans I talked to agreed that it was time for him to move on. But are the Leafs a better team than they were going into last season? Probably not. Definitely not.
They're going to take a step back for sure, I think.
But they were really good. Like I don't think people credit them enough for how good they were. Yeah, they have a stinker, in game 5, but game 7, I don't think they played that bad. Like I credit Bobrovsky a lot in that first period. I think he stopped like 3 breakaway chance. I know they started
play
out a
very
little
well.
slow, but like who was it? Lorenz had the breakaway. Nylander has like that backdoor chance. Like the chances were there. And Florida is that good. Like you just got to tip your cap.
They're
Like, they're that
incredible.
good.
They are.
They literally have the exact same team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wagon. What would be your way too early Cup Finals predictions?
I mean, I think anyone who says someone other than Florida in the East right now is kind of just like full of shit. Like, how could you pick against Florida? Same roster, same team. Like, Kachuk's obviously going to miss a lot of time from what it sounds like during the year, but like by playoffs, he'll be good. And that's all that matters. So
I hate to hear you say that.
it's how could you think otherwise? How could
You can't. You
How
can't.
can you genuinely think otherwise right now with what that team's done? But for me, it's Florida, and in the West, I could be like anybody. I think Colorado will be back there. I think if it's not for a 10-minute span in the third period, they're possibly back there again. But obviously, we know what happened with Mikko Rantanen in that game 7, and I think I'd be fine with that. That'd be a great final, Florida, versus and it was Colorado that ruined Tampa's little run there, and maybe Colorado ruins Florida's run.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I think it was safe to say the Rangers had a little bit of a disappointing 2024 season. What's kind of your expectations for them this upcoming year?
Yeah, I don't have high expectations, but I don't have low I'm like third place in the Met, maybe win a round, but I don't see them getting past the second round of the playoffs.
What's happening with Zibanejad?
He's staying.
You think so?
I mean, nothing's happened yet. I don't see it happening as far as a trade goes. Maybe like something happens during the season, but he's playing opening night from what I would gather. I think he was fine with JT Miller once JT came over and he played on the wing. And again, like Mika's last 2 years, both under Laviolette used him a lot. Maybe those are the outlier years. Like before that, he's putting up, 80 points, 90 points, 40 goals. Like it's there. And the one thing that is in common is these 2 years that have been bad were under Laviolette. Before that, Gallant, David Quinn, he's putting up great numbers. So maybe Mike Sullivan can help bring that back out in him. I'm not blaming Peter Laviolette for Mika's, performance, but like that's the one common denominator you can find between these 2 years versus every other season in his career where he was, talked about as a top 10, arguably top 5 center in the NHL. Like the conversation 3 years ago was this guy is a top 5 center in the league. Like he was.
40 goals and just like a machine on the power
Automatic on the
play.
power play. Yeah, like he was doing everything.
Yeah. What do you think of? We'll talk about the Rangers. Lafreniere. I mean, signed a big ticket last year. 2 years ago, I think he had his best season. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Is
Yeah.
that just being a product of the hype as the number one prospect? Like, what's your thoughts on him? He's coming into what, his fifth season?
I think six. I
Sixth.
think so.
Okay, so this is
Yeah.
the kind of the time where you either take that next stride, or I think you are what you are at that point.
Yeah. Well, he took the stride last year. This year the whole team sucked, so like I'm not gonna blame him. Um, he was a big part of he was a big part of them not being good though. Like he was expected to be much better after the 57-point season. But yeah, like the guys around him just I don't even know. Like nobody looked like they wanted to play this past year. But to me, like I still have a lot of faith in Lafreniere. Like even though he's going into year six, like he's still 23 years old.
Yeah.
Like this guy is so young. And like you can make all the comparisons, but like this is a stretch, but it's actually a fact because like the numbers are numbers. Like McKinnon's first 4 years weren't like the best, and then all of a sudden he exploded. But it was always there. Like I think Lafreniere can explode at some point. Whether that's this year, I don't know, but I think all the tools are there. It's just got to be consistent.
I think McKinnon was under a point a game his first like 4 or 5 years, and then
Yeah.
kind of like you said, he just found his stride and has been 100-point player ever since.
Yeah, he went from like 58 points to like 97 points.
Yeah, he just made
He's
a
my
huge
favorite
jump.
player. He's my favorite player to watch, and
Yeah,
like I'm
he's
saying that even
unreal.
outside of McDavid, we had on an episode we were talking about the Four Nations, and we said that he runs or he skates like a horse, runs on
Yeah,
ice, and has winter tires for hooves. He's
he's
just a
he's
fucking machine.
unbelievable. He really
He's
is.
my favorite player in the league. I pick him over McDavid any day of the week.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, that's one thing Taylor's been dying on. He won't budge on it.
no
I
chance.
mean, he's got a cup, so I guess.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's 1 for 1.
So I'd love to ask you, with you were mentioning that the Rangers kind of haven't had the heart that you've been wanting to see out of them for the last few years. So
Well,
have
no,
there
just this past year.
this past year, sorry. And has there been a team that's been more fun to cover over the last year?
Um, I don't really like cover like I mean like I talk to every road team that comes through New York, but I'm not with them the whole year. Um, but like yeah, I mean when the Panthers came to town, they were always fun in the locker room. Who else was fun? Like the Flyers guys were always really fun. Devils guys I like. Islanders I don't see as much just because like they don't really skate at MSG in the mornings. Um, who else? Like the Oilers guys were cool. Tampa was great. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of there are a lot of the Wild are a lot of fun. The only teams that were like the one team that was probably the most serious was the Jets. Like they were just like kind of dialed in, like weren't goofing around as much when they came to MSG last year. Um, but yeah, for the most part, like all the teams that come through are a blast. Uh, I can't say I have like one other team that I love. I do love watching Colorado. They're not so fun to talk to because they're all pretty serious, but um, like if I'm staying up, for a Western Conference game, it's usually watching the Avs.
Their pace of play is just
Yeah, it's insane.
so fast.
Insane.
So sick. Their power play is magic. The way they just feed the puck up to
Insane.
McCarr, down to McKinnon, and then obviously it's not ranting anymore, tapping it home on the back door.
Yeah.
Who you got like a dark horse East-West team this year? What are you thinking?
The Anaheim Ducks to make the playoffs. That's like my highest take.
You think
probably.
so?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why? Because they have the two washed up Rangers with Trouba and Kreider.
No Stroman Vetrano. But
What they're doing, they're a weird one to me.
yeah, I love those guys. The Ducks are actually a really fun team too. Like I love Frankie Vetrano. He's one of my favorite guys. But yeah, I think they're a lot of fun. They got a lot of young talent. I wonder what's going to happen with Mason McTavish. But the Ducks are a team that, to me, I think takes that next step this year.
And in the East, you got any dark horse teams in the East? I like Columbus.
Dark horse, like to what? Make the playoffs, or like to actually make a run.
Yeah, maybe make the playoffs, sneak, maybe win a round.
Like I genuinely, maybe the Senators are more fun. Like their run this year was kind of cool. Obviously, you guys being Leafs fans probably don't feel that way, but yeah, I'd say the Sens maybe went around this year instead because like Olmark, you never know, right? Like if he's playing his best, like they could be scary.
He was great on Boston that 1 year.
They won the Vezina that year.
Yeah.
It went like 40-6.
I'd love to get into some sweaty trio style questions to start closing this out. First one, more dangerous, blocking a slap shot from Zdeno Chara or opening Twitter after a really bad take on the pod?
I mean, like it's obviously blocking. I mean, like I actually I kind of I like love when people come at me on Twitter. Like that's a good like that. I like that. That's a good thing. Um, yeah. If it was Chara Slapshatter getting hit by a car, like maybe that's a different story.
I might even take the car, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you had to
Hey, open
survive a night
Twitter.
with one team, who's making
Oh,
sure you don't make it home?
well, I missed the first part. What was the first part?
Sorry, if you had to survive a night out with one team, what team is making sure that you're not making it home in one team?
Not making it home. I mean, with what we've seen, I wasn't out with them, but with what we've seen from Florida after winning the cup, like those guys are just nonstop.
I don't think I think Matthew Tkachuk said he slept 45 minutes over 72 hours.
Mhm. Yeah, insane. Those guys are just as they should. When you win back-to-back cups, you shouldn't sleep for a second.
Yeah, 100%.
I
Yeah,
think
wake
is
up,
there
drink, repeat.
yeah, exactly. Is there a guy, Johnny, that you have, I would say other than McDavid, because I think that's the obvious answer, that hasn't won a cup that you would love to see win a cup? Like, is there any
Yeah,
older guy
yeah.
in the league or that you think, he's just missing that one? I mean, he's missing the ultimate prize.
I don't like feel any attachment to this guy. Uh, like the first name that came to mind was like Brent Burns. Just because I wonder like what he'd do. I don't know him. I've never met him, but
Oh,
like he
party on
always
an
seems
animal
like it.
farm.
He just yeah, cause like Mario Ferraro is a good friend of mine, and Mario loves Brent Burns just because they were like deep partners for in San Jose. So I've heard some like fun stories about him. So he'd be like an interesting guy. I don't like know him. I've never met him. Um, but like another one like Jamie Benn is up there. Obviously,
Yeah.
like he seems like a cool dude, and uh, seeing him and Sagan get one would be, or Sagan's got one with Boston, I guess. But seeing Jamie Benn get one would be cool.
So there's been, kind of a debate around the league the last few years, kind of who the most underrated player is. A lot of it's been around Barkov. Do you have any player in mind that kind of doesn't get the recognition that they deserve?
I feel like I was just talking about this, but now I'm blanking on who it was. Um, fuck. I was literally just having this conversation. Uh, it's gonna piss me off. Um,
Lexi Lafreniere.
no. I was swear to God, I was just talking about this with my friend Lewis. I gotta go back to our conversation. It was like 2 weeks ago.
I mean, you mentioned
Uh,
Frank Petrano. I think he's a very underrated player.
Frank is definitely underrated. He's definitely underrated.
He's a
He
good
can
player.
score. He's a bit of a fucking
Yeah,
sick scorer.
his shot is a weapon.
He's got a cannon of a wrist shot, man.
Oh, Clayton Keller was one of them. It was Clayton Keller.
I love Clayton
He's like a
Keller.
90-point guy. Like he's nasty, and
Every year.
no
He's
one talks
consistent.
about him. Yeah, Clayton Keller.
Well, okay, let's stick with Utah for a second. What do you think with the Paterka trade and kind of the stuff they've done? Are they a playoff team?
Yeah, they were right there last year. I mean, I think they had a couple injuries to Sergachev, Dursey. Like, they were missing some key pieces of their blue line, and if those guys are healthy all year, like who knows? And excuse me, but I'm pretty sure like Ingram went on a crazy run last year. Vamelka, is obviously a pretty solid goaltender now in the league. Um, but if they could stay healthy, like their top six looks pretty good with Paterka in it, and now they got that line of Cooley, Genther, and Keller, and I think what's their second line? Paterka probably like with Schmaltz and who would be the center?
Kraus? No, not Kraus.
Barrett Hayton maybe.
Barrett Hayton, yeah.
Uh, yeah, like who they get? Nate Schmidt. And they signed him. Yeah, Marino was hurt last year. I think they have Ian Cole.
Yep, man, he's pretty
Yeah,
Yeah,
League
like
legend Alex
they are
Kirkland.
definitely a potential playoff team. I would say for sure.
they could
Yeah,
definitely do
I
something
like
this year.
them. I like them.
Mhm.
Okay, I think I'm good. I think I don't have anything else. You got anything,
I have
Michael?
one last question.
Yeah,
Which team has the worst pre-game playlist in the league?
I I don't know if I've experienced music in the locker room.
Oh, wow.
Like at morning skate, you're asking, obviously, because that's when I'd be in the room.
For sure.
I hear a lot of win songs, like when the Rangers lose, you walk by the road room and they're blasting music, so you hear some win songs. But I can't honestly say I remember any team having music on like during morning skate in the locker room, at least when media's in there. It would make it hard to do our jobs, obviously.
Imagine just they're
I think
blasting
Cole
Chapel
Club was
Road in
going
the
on.
Oilers room.
Yeah, yeah. The Oilers had like when they were in New York, so I don't remember like what time of year it was, but they were playing this song called like, and I only remember it because I didn't know it at the time, so I asked Calvin Pickard what it was. It was like One and Only. I forgot who it's by, but it was pretty good. It was a good song. First time I heard it.
I don't know if I've ever heard that either.
The
Yeah,
best win song and that I can think of that has serious meaning was Gloria when the Blues won.
yeah.
And that story about the guy, the watch guy, what's his name?
Oh, Larry Flowers.
Yeah, Larry Flowers.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
man. He's the
And then the video
best.
of
Love
Brett
that guy.
Hull rubbing his nipples, screaming Gloria. Like my
Yeah,
favorite. That was my
that
favorite
was,
fucking win. And they beat the Bruins, so it was great.
that was good
Let's
shit.
go. Oh, Johnny, man, thank you so much for taking the
Yeah.
time out of your day to come get sweaty with the boys. This has been an amazing interview. Please take this opportunity to tell everybody who's watching where they could find you and what you're up to.
Yeah, just daily face off pretty much. You can find me on their YouTube channel. I got the morning show going once the season starts back up in October. Right now I'm kind of just chilling, taking the summer to enjoy the fun stuff. That's why my voice sounds like it does right now. So fun weekend. But yeah, thank you guys for having me again. I know I was kind of annoying with the schedule, so I appreciate
Oh,
you
don't
guys
worry about
being
it.
flexible.
No, thank you.
So much for coming on.
Yeah, you got it, boys. Be
Thanks,
good, all right?
brother.
Later.
As
Cheers.
always, stay sweaty.